Yes, hello guys, good afternoon once again, and you're welcome on board. As I stated earlier, you're welcome to this webinar on citizen journalism and misinformation that is brought to you by yes, Justin, I have a very strong Wi-Fi today. It's guaranteed. Don't worry. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, so we're going to have two panelists. We have Ochaya Jackson, and we also have Gaia Ketch. They will be sharing with us insights on what citizen journalism is and what constitutes citizen journalism, and they will give us some case examples, and then we will have breakout sessions where we'll divide you guys into groups so that you go and discuss your perspectives on citizen journalism and misinformation, and then you get back to us on the ideas that you have shared so that we also learn from you. We hope that this session is going to be as informative as possible, and also you shouldn't shy away and catch up with the discussions. So mostly Jackson will be answering questions about what citizen journalism is, the difference between citizen journalism and regular journalism, and what are some of the similarities, what is the legal perspective
HR,
when it comes
anything to say to the team before we close?
I don't think I have. But I've got
hey
some of the things I didn't know. But I'll ensure that HR gets to know them at least by the end of today.
oh sorry about that, somebody was having a different meeting. Let us please stay muted so that we do not interrupt the session from time to time. So because of the number of people in the session and also the limited time, we wouldn't have the opportunity to introduce ourselves like as all the participants in this call. But what you can do is you can introduce yourself by telling us your name, what do you do, and where you work, and what you hope to learn from these specifics of some of the questions that you want answered to do with citizen journalism and misinformation in the context of South Sudan. So this activity is part of our fact-checking and digital rights empowerment project that is being supported by the collaboration on international ICT policy in East and Southern Africa in the context of the Africa Digital Rights Fund. And this is the last activity we are having. We have had fellowships, we have had several trainings, we have had talk shows, we have had other webinars, and we have also had some community engagements in some neighborhoods of Juba City. So, like I said earlier, our panelists will be Ochaya Jackson and then Gaia Ketch. Both of them are fact checkers at 211 Check. And then they will be sharing with us questions of what citizen journalism is, the similarities, some case studies to do with South Sudan, cases where citizen journalism has been used positively, and cases where citizen journalism has been used negatively, and also cases where mainstream media has been looking out to citizen journalists in order to capture some of the stories that they reflect in their reporting. So Ochaya, over to you. You can introduce yourself and get us started. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Bida, for introduction. Good afternoon, everyone, and you are highly welcome to these sessions. My name is Ochaya Jackson Amos, a fact checker with DeFi Head South Sudan under 211 Checked Information Verification and Fact Checking Desk. So you are highly welcome, and this session is going to be an interactive one, and of course, all of us, we are going to have a say in it, and feel free, let's interact and let's get more insights and how journalism and misinformation unfold in our society and the drive behind all this. So feel free and be welcome. Thank you. Vida, back to you.
Yeah, you can share your screen and start your presentation.
Vida, are you getting me?
Yes, I am getting you. You can
Vida,
share
are
your
you
screen
there?
and start your presentation. Are you not getting me?
Hello, Bida.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guy, are
Now,
you not getting me?
We are getting you.
Yes, so I don't know why they are not getting me, but I was saying, Ochaya, you can share your screen and start your presentation.
all right then. Yes, once again, all of you are welcome, and thank you for joining us from wherever you are. Feel free, and I'm going to take you through citizen journalism and misinformation. So basically, as I said before, my name is Ochaya Jackson, fact checker with DeFi Head South Sudan, based in Juba. Just let's get into the insight of the insight of citizen journalism and misinformation. But first, we are going to look to understand into citizen journalism, what is it about, and who are the people behind it. So citizen journalism is a practice when an individual or any members of the public participate in gathering and reporting of news or information about what is happening in our society. So currently, if you can see, gone are the days that when people wait for information from radio, TV, newspapers, and even from fellow human beings. But nowadays, people have access to devices that has been brought through to us through advancement of technology. So we have smartphone where you can take a photo, you can record video, and you send live to the public who are online. So citizen journalism is that kind of journalism that is being practiced by anybody or individual that is involved in gathering information and reporting of news in a society. So citizen journalism is not a trained journalist, okay? It's actually people who have not gone into a journalism school, but they are able to inform and educate society about what is happening based on the platform that they have on their fingertips. So that's the understanding of citizen journalism. And it involves like organizing events, interviewing people, and even fact-checking. So if you can look critically, there are people who use their Facebook page, Twitter, to post about event that is happening in their area or any event that they have participated in. They just take photos or write about it and post on their personal profile page. So that's how citizen journalism is unfolding in our society. We no longer rely only on radio, TV, or newspaper. So we access this, and it's being made possible by the access of internet in our society. Again, citizen journalism enables individuals to report news events, providing an alternative to the mainstream media. So mainstream media, it's like they are fading, but they are not fading. They are also existing. But the pace with which citizen journalism is now moving, it is more faster. People get information faster from citizen journalism platform than mainstream media. In mainstream media, there are processes with which information is processed and published to the public. But mainstream media just pick it as long as it happens immediately, it goes live to the public on their platform. So traditional journalism typically relies on professional reporters, but citizen journalism, these are ordinary citizens, individuals who are not trained journalists. So even others did not go to journalism school, but they are able to write news or information on their platform to the public, despite the fact that they may not also meet all the criteria of journalism selection of angles and meeting 5H, 5W and H. So even if their story does not cover all these criteria, but they are able to give us a clue of what is happening or what has happened in our society. So next, the forms of citizen journalism, or the types of citizen journalism. Nowadays, we have people who have blogs. They have their website, personal website, where they can report on what is happening in our society, whether through video, through photos, through articles. They published what is happening in our community, being it negatively or positively. They use their blogging website to report on what is happening in our society. We have social media posts. We have Facebook pages of different individuals who are in our society following up what is happening, and they're giving updates to the public about what is happening, despite of location where they are. But people who are following them or connected to them will get to know what is happening in that location, will get to know what is happening in other areas. On Twitter, Instagram, and as well as WhatsApp groups, people forward what is happening in and around our society. Also photography, people take photos of what is happening or what is the situation like in that area. So they post so that people will get to know this photo, according to what has happened, is here appearing on different platforms. Also, we have voice recording, we have audio. There are people who record their voice and send on different platforms to inform people about what is happening, to inform people about what has happened or what is going to happen. All these are citizen journalism. They are not trained, but they are able to record voice and send about what is happening. Even the mainstream media will use such platform as a tips to gather their news or to create or to follow up on what is happening. Then after that, they will publish later. Also, we have video recording. We have seen videos of different events that has happened in a location where we could not even access, where mainstream media could not even access. But somebody somewhere in that location recorded the video and posted on social media accounts or Facebook assets, and we are able to be informed about what has happened. Then after that, the mainstream media will find that opportunity to verify the video, whether it is true or false. After that, they will also follow up about what is happening, and they make news out of it. Next, still on the form of citizen journalism, there are other organizations like Wiki Tribune. They have developed a platform specifically designed for citizen journalism, where they create content, they create stories, they create events, they report about events happening in their areas, and they send through the platform. People will get informed, and people will get access to different information about the events or any situation that's happening. So the platform allows collaboration between citizen journalists and editors in the newsroom. You'll find that editors who are situated in the mainstream media newsroom, they have connection with citizen journalists, and they get first-hand information from citizen journalists, and they use that information They process it, analyze it, then after that they published or they put on air for the public to get to know. And yet the source of that information came from citizen journalism. So that's how they collaborate on sharing information in the society or informing and educating the society about what is happening. Next, we have advantages of citizen journalism. So citizen journalism inform the public. They uncover stories where by mainstream media even could not access. They provide platform for voices that are marginalized. For example, a situation in a location whereby people could not access due to the bad weather condition, the bad road conditions, transport connectivity is very poor, and you'll find that even the reporters from the mainstream media could not access that place and they cannot even go. So you'll find that anything that could happen in that area, people in that area, they are able to take note of what has happened, and they send those stories and information about what has happened through their personal Facebook pages or accounts, Twitter or WhatsApp in the group. So they inform people in those platforms about what is happening or what has happened in that area. So you'll find that citizen journalism is actually at the grassroots. It is everywhere, in rural areas or remote areas or within the town suburbs, they are there. But they use their personal account or Twitter handles to inform and educate the society or to educate the public about what is happening. And other people who may not have access to the mainstream media to be heard, you'll find that citizen journalism play a big role to make sure that such people be heard in the public domain. And example of those will be, we are going to have them when my colleague Philip Akesh will come in later. That when he will tell us more about how citizen journalism impact in our society and what success stories have been made through citizen journalism reporting. He will tell us more about it later. So citizen journalism create more engagement because of the platform that they have on their fingertips and the capability of them sharing that information to the public. So it also helps reliance on people no longer rely on newspaper, radio, television. So we get an alternative source of information from citizen journalism practices. We are getting that various accounts of events happening through citizen journalism practices. So we have a diverse source of information that is coming in our society. So we no longer rely on mainstream media. We get to inform community through the devices that we have with the access of internet and technology. So finally, it's build relationship between the media and the audience. So you'll find that audience are connected to the media because of they always want to know what is really happening or what is taking place in any location. By following up, by going to Facebook, looking what is happening, following pages of highly profiled people, prominent people in society, journalists. So they follow, they want to know what this person is posting or what is happening somewhere that this person might be posting later or is posting. So next, how can citizen journalism contribute to misinformation? First of all, citizen journalism, they lack editorial oversight. When you look at the information flow from the citizen journalism perspective, they don't have a newsroom whereby you have a hierarchy of editors, editor-in-chief, managing editor, copy editor, then reporter. So their information right from the source is straight to public domain. So they lack that oversight of editorial. So the information that they are sending are actually, the information could not be analyzed. And when it is being done through the mainstream media, whereby you have the flow of information right from the reporter to the copy desk, the copy desk, maybe to the managing editor, then editor-in-chief. Along this line, you'll find that if the information is untrue, it could be spotted. But with citizen journalism, it is rarely. So there is no that oversight. The information that happened or anything that's happening, they just post. Or any false information that somebody might have posted, they also share without analyzing. So they don't have that editorial oversight. That's why they have the capability to misinform society or to spread hate speech in our society. So citizen journalism, they don't have editors to review their materials. So whatever information that they post, immediately it goes just like that. Nobody is there to supervise them, to scrutinize their evidence, and to follow up if this information is real. So citizen journalism, they also lack accountability. There is no way you can hold somebody who posted anything on his or her personal profile about what has happened in a society accountable. Maybe by either countering that person on the comment section or by other means, but otherwise they lack accountability. But when you look at the mainstream media, any mistake that has been made, the mainstream media, they must be held accountable. We have seen the situation of apologies, defamation. So those are the things that mainstream media, they are being held accountable. But with citizen journalism, they lack that. They don't have that accountability. So nobody is there to hold them accountable because they are just everywhere and they are reliable, and it is very hard to hold them accountable. And next is that the lack of diversity or the balance in the story. We will find that any event that has happened and it has been reported by anybody on his or her platform, they don't have capacity to follow other sources or to contact somebody that might have been a party in that story. So they will not contact that person, or they don't have capability to contact that person before running the story on their personal account. So they will just post like that. So they don't have any balance of the story, whether that story is biased against another person, instead of scrutinizing and balancing it to make a balanced narrative. So they don't care. So they just run the story like that. That's why they have the potential to misinform the public. So they give disinformation, sometimes even malinformation to the public, because there is no that total oversight, accountability, or editors to review their materials. They are the editors, they are everything. So there is no, the line of information flow is not there. From bottom up, like in the mainstream media, for them, just from up, immediately the information go to the public. So the channels citizen journalists use to transmit information. So citizen journalists, they use their own blogs, their website to inform and educate. They use their social media assets like Facebook accounts, pages, Twitter handles, WhatsApp group, and Instagram, including others. They use those channels to inform and educate the society or the public about what is happening, depending on the content of the information that they would post. But the facts remain that they use their personal platform to inform and educate the public. And we have podcasts. People who have podcasts, they just organize their session interview, then they invite the person that they want to invite, and after that they run the story. Or anybody can just record a podcast about what is happening, then send to the public. Then people will be able to know this podcast is about what has happened somewhere, or what is happening somewhere, or what is about to happen. Then we have videos. We have various Facebook pages claiming to be TVs. We have Juba TVs, we have Equatorial TV, we have so all these they claim to be TV, but they are not the real mainstream TV. They are personal Facebook assets or account whereby they run information about what is happening in our society. They make the recording, they send, sometimes even they live stream, or they go live about what is happening, or they go live to inform and educate the public. So the content they are giving, they are actually not like a well scrutinized content or a content that has been critically edited by senior editors, managing editors, or editor-in-chief. So they just run their content like that. So we have website. Our website, yeah, this also play a bigger role. This is a channel that they also use. So some of these personal Facebook account, others even went up creating their own website where they inform and educate the public. So they run most of their information either on website, on podcast, social media assets, blogs. So these are the channels citizen journalists use to inform and educate the public. So to ensure that their messages reach a wider audience, there are people who boost their account to make sure that their content actually reach wider audience in the society. They boost their content using Facebook ads platform or search engine optimization, or to maximize audience reach. All these for them to garner or to gather more followers, or so that people will be in position to follow them. And sometimes even the headline they run, their inflammatory headlines or diversionary headlines that does not reflect the truth on the ground. All this to make sure people follow them so that they have wider audience. Examples of impacts made by citizen journalism. You'll find that a flood in other areas whereby people, mainstream media could not access, conflict zones, sensitive news stories coming from those places. You'll see the pictures of people who are in a very desperate situation, displaced by floods or any kind of disasters. But that photos, we did not get it, or we are not getting it through the mainstream media, but we are getting it on social media, we are getting it on Twitter. So all these conflict zones, we have seen recorded video of people or the situation where the communities are suffering. So all these are coming through social media assets. We are getting them from the website. So all these are being used by citizen journalists to reach out to the public or to inform the society about what is happening. So that's the impact they are making. So they also document stories that traditional outlet might have overlooked. Like, for example, in a situation where something is very important, or there are communities that are suffering because they are not represented, their situation is actually worse because they don't have voice to air out what is facing them. You'll find that anybody or somebody may record their situation or may report about what is happening in that area. Then that one will catch the attention of the authorities and will catch the attention of other public institutions that are meant to offer services. Then they will also get solution to what is facing them. So those are the key areas where citizen journalism make impact by bringing out the harsh reality of life in a situation where mainstream media overlooked, or mainstream media ignored, or mainstream media did not actually have access to those places. So citizen journalism make it possible by bringing it to the attention of the public. They also use the platform to call out injustices and all out powerful people accountable. We have seen how social media amplifying their voices about injustices happening in our society by making outrages so that people could be heard about what is happening, or somebody that has done something wrong in the society should be held accountable. So they amplifies the voices. They make sure something wrong should go out to the public. Despite the consequences, nobody cares. So they just call out, or they published anything that is meant to be heard, they just make it. And finally, citizen journalism bring attention to the lesser known causes of important issues. Climate change, we have seen, like I said before, we have flood, we have people who have been affected by flood. And if those areas, even other big people cannot access because the place is very, very, very dangerous and the flood is everywhere. People are living there. Where they're staying, they go to high hill ground where they can stay in a place where water or flood cannot reach them. We have seen people in poverty, people who are in serious poverty, a vicious circle of poverty, and services could not reach them. So you'll find that that situation catches the attention of the public through reporting from citizen journalism. Next, again, on using citizen journalism for impact, citizen journalists have a great opportunity to inform and engage public, engage people through their writings. There are options whereby citizen journalists, they used to reach out their goals. Their goals may be to inform the public or to make wider audience follow them, or just to make their story reach out. And they use different options to make sure they reach out. First, they conduct research. What they are writing, they know about what has happened, or they know more about the subject matter. Then they write the issues about the issues happening in our community, what is affecting the local community, based on the topic of interest that they are interested to make public. So they use social media to spread their messages to reach wider audience. And they also attend events like people. There are people, once they attended any event or any workshop, any lectures, then they come out, take pictures, write about it, they post on their Facebook pages, Twitter, they inform the public that means that person has attended an event. Somebody who might have not known about the event will get that information from the personal profile of the person that informed the public about what has happened. So they use their own personal profile or Facebook assets to inform and educate. So that's how citizen journalism works. That's how they use various options to reach out to the public or to advance their goal. So citizen journalism, they collaborate with journalists to create online platform. We have engagement online, having Zoom meeting or any meeting that is being conducted online is being facilitated with the help of some of the citizen journalists. They create a community whereby they engage, they educate, they share ideas, they inform themselves about what is happening. So next, coming to the legality of citizen journalists in our society. Citizen journalists, this is like an individual who is informing and educating the public about what is happening in a society. So that person is not from a mainstream media, and he or she is using his or her personal account to inform and educate. So that person, from the international humanitarian law, has a right to freedom of expression. However, the line between what is right and what is not right is still blurry. So that is now the question. If I may give us 5 minutes, to discuss among ourselves why the line between what is legal and what is not legal is blurry between citizen journalists in a society. Anybody there can give us input?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm getting you. Go ahead.
Yes, Amos.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, this is Peter. This is Peter Jaga.
Peter Jaga, go ahead.
Yes, I think yes. To me, I think there is still this shrinking civic space where you find citizens are not given the right to fully participate and giving out information. On the other hand, you may find that citizens sometimes are not feeding the public with the right information. This is sometimes you find it that someone will just give out information without even getting proper documentation of the problem first, or the news that you want to give out, or you want to educate the public, or you want to feed the public with the news. So first of all, you need to find out exactly why you want to give out the information, or how many people that you want to give out this information. Do these people have the line to know exactly what you want to know, what you want them to know, or not? So to me, I can say there is this space, there is this shrinking space where citizens themselves need to know exactly the information that they're giving out should be accurate, and also should also not put public into some panic. Thank you.
Yes, Peter Jack. Thank you. Thank you, Peter Jack, for your input. Generally, everyone has the right to freedom of expression, and citizen journalists, they have also that right on reporting of other communities, disaster situation. Their status of being legal in society is actually being questioned. It's being debated. So let
Looks like we lost Ochaya, but we hope that he bounces back. It was actually a very nice presentation, and I see interesting comments. Modi is saying, can one also say some mainstream journalists are citizen journalists when it comes to some misinformation, some information they share? No, Modi. When a trained journalist shares content on their own platforms, they are not citizen journalists. They are professional journalists. Okay, and then I see Dorcas. Dorcas is saying citizen journalists are really helping out, especially in crisis, conflict zones. Just that they need to know their limits. Good. That is that is true. That is true. And then we have more comments. I see. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So that is it. We hope that Ochaya gets back to finish his remaining part of the presentation, and our next. Ochaya is back. Sorry about that. You're welcome back, man.
Yes. Sorry, guys. I was knocked out. Yeah. Let me share my screen again. Yes. I was knocked out. Internet was problem. So I also give another 2 minutes. Let's digest this. Why the line between citizen journalists and professional journalists still blurred or being debated? Their status is legally still being questioned. Why? Anybody?
Okay, I think what is asking is like, why is it still hard for people to take information from citizen journalists? So yeah, so that is what he's asking. So in case you have any contribution, you can raise your hand. Yes, I see a hand up from a nameless person. My friend, you're welcome. What is your name, please? The person without name. Oh, okay, maybe, yes, that girl, the lady, your camera is on. You can carry on. Your audio is off. Your audio. You turn on your audio. Yeah, you can go now.
Yeah, hello?
Yes, coming.
Getting you.
Yeah, actually, the reason why it is still debated, like, you know, being a citizen journalist, you are not authentically authorized. Actually, you have to undergo through some principle of journalism and code of conduct that can actually guide you. So that's why most of the people these days, they are still debating about citizen journalism. They are not fully, actually, they are unprofessional journalists. So that is the reason. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
So this means that there's no guarantee that they can abide by any form of code of conduct. Yes, we have a hand from Joseph Henry. You're welcome, Joseph.
Joseph, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I think for me, basically, why there is that gap is, first of all, from the government side, government does not recognize them. So that one makes it hard for the public to consume of what they provide or they give the public. And also, these are citizen journalists, mostly they provide information based on their personal interest. For example, like on tribal lines. So you find that when you start giving that kind of information, then the public will really find it very hard to consume it in the right manner.
Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you, Joseph. Important insights. And let us give the last chance to John Good, and then Ochaya, you can continue. John Good, Mike, you're welcome.
Thank you, Bida. Just to add on the what few the first speakers said, they have nailed everything. But I just want to add one thing. Majority of digital journal citizen journalists report on based on the fact and not the fact. They based on their opinion and not fact. Thank you.
All right, thank you, John. Actually, all your inputs good and perfect. So the status of citizen journalists, actually, citizen journalists, they're legally not registered or licensed media. They don't come from a licensed media houses. So they use just what is available at their disposal to inform and educate the society. So professional journalists, these are established journalists with known media houses. They inform the public based on the content that is legally regulated, being dictated by ethics and conduct. So when you come to citizen journalists, they don't have that setting or jurisdictions where they are to abide by. So they just use what is available and inform and educate the society. However, from international humanitarian law, there is that right to freedom of expression. We cannot silence them because they are not registered or professional journalists, but everybody has the right to inform and educate or to express his or her opinion. So that is the basis where they lie. But legally in society, they are not registered media houses. They are not from established newsroom. So that's the line between what is legal or what is not legal when it comes to citizen journalism. So there are similarities between citizen journalists and professional journalists. Both citizen journalists and professional journalists, they write stories, they inform and educate the public, about what is happening. That's what all of them have. So also both of them require a certain level. They have knowledge. Citizen journalists, they have knowledge about what they're writing about, and they use that skill to inform and educate, as well as professional journalists in the newsroom. They have knowledge about what they write or information about their write. So they have that skills to inform and educate the public. So all of them also adhere to a certain level of ethical standards, okay? Like nobody is using his or her personal Facebook pages, Twitter, to post about the privacy of an individual. So that's in itself, it's a self-regulatory to the citizen journalist. So they abide by certain ethical standards, despite the fact that they are not from established journalists, news media. So they also adhere to that standard. Nobody is damaging or invading the privacy of any individual. Okay, so they abide by that. Next, we have their differences. Professional journalists, they have story angles, they have resources, they are coming from institutions where they have contacts to the sources of news where they're getting the news from. They have sources, they have contacts from institutions where they contact in case of anything. However, citizen journalists, they don't have that capacity or ability to contact institutions to verify or to get information. They only rely on what has happened, whether it is natural disaster or conflict or anything that they come across, they just rely on it and boom, they run that story. So they don't have that contact. That is the difference. They don't have that contact. They only focus on local stories, but professional journalists, they do stories that cross boundaries. They do stories that have international angles. So that's the difference. So finally, we have come to the end of my presentation. Any question, any queries is welcome now. So Bida, back to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jackson, for the nice presentation. There are a few questions here. One, John Agok is asking you that what is the difference between armchair and citizens journalist? So I don't know. Okay, what is it between armchair and citizens journalist? And then we have a hand from Dorcas. Dorcas, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. Hello.
Dorcas, yeah.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you get me?
Yes, raise up your voice.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you very much.
You're loud and clear. Go ahead, yeah.
Okay, Dorcas is having some connectivity issues. Kay, you can come, and then Peter Jack. Okay.
All right, thank you, Bida and Ocha, for the nice presentation. Actually, some of the points that I've noted here has been answered by some of the colleagues in the earlier question posted by Ocha. Let me hope you're getting me well.
Yes, we are.
All right, yes. I have around 2 to 3 questions here. Now, the first question is, what is the difference between this citizen journalism and whistleblowers? Because these are also some categories of people that traditional media can rely on them to get information. And if it is good for a journalist or for a traditional media to rely on whistleblowers, sometimes people who don't want their identity to be identified. That's one. Two, do you think, or is there another way that in future, traditional media can be overpowered by the existence of the citizen journalist, because in a presentation, it's like they own bigger platforms. We're talking about the blogs, we're talking about the Twitter handles, we're talking about Facebook, and based on the number of the followers, yes, some of the information may be correct or wrong, but I think to get the accurate information, it is not up to the individual who wants to consume that information to judge whether a citizen journalist is giving right information or not. So in this aspect, where is the future of traditional media in years to come? Of course, now with the invention of technology, see? So that's my second question. The last one, I think has been answered before, so I will not be able really to touch on it because you also mentioned how these two form of journalism can coexist together, but the boundary of trust is what you have just clarified on. Thank you. I remain okay, Emmanuel Doku.
Perfect, perfect. Very, very brilliant questions. And Ochaya, I hope you have noted them. Next, we have Peter Ajak, and then Noah, and then Dorcas again. Peter, you're welcome.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. I just want to say, Ochaya, thank you so much for this presentation. It is very nice. And in fact, I don't have questions, but I just wanted to put something across. I just want to tell my brothers and sisters or citizens outside there that, when you are citizens, journalists, you need to be very careful with whatever you have to post on your Facebook platform. There are things that sometimes you need to be very careful. And of course, as we are entitled by the Constitution that all of us have right to speak out or maybe to say something, the freedom of speech. But in fact, we need to use it correctly in a way that we will not be, will not be colliding with the government. Sometimes you may make jokes. I'm one of the people who is very funny on Facebook. And I know I have a lot of followers. I have a lot of people that always enjoy my jokes and my news and other things that I always write. But you need to know that exactly the kind of people that are talking, you are passing the information to them. You should also avoid misinformation. And information is key. Information is life. And whenever you are giving out information, please filter the information, and you need to give the right information. So thank you so much. This is what I just want to put across. Yeah, back to you, Chair.
Perfect, Peter. Excellent words of encouragement. I think this is very, very important for all of us, both professional and citizen journalists. And it takes us back to the point that Dorcas mentioned earlier, that citizen journalists should just know their limits. Perfect. Noah Wapera, you're welcome. Noah, are you getting us?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, you're
welcome.
Please.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I think this is one of those topics that are crucial in this season when it comes to journalism, because we are all affected, whether government or the journalists ourselves, even the community, the netizens are all affected. Some of the things that I wanted to note out, because I had someone mentioning and saying, the citizen journalists are not registered. I would say one thing: when it comes to citizen journalism, there are people who are hiding behind citizen journalism, but they are actually wrong journalists who are creating a lot of havoc online. So someone hides in the name of a citizen and is posting. When you look at the content, someone reasons like a journalist, but what he's sharing is propaganda, and with a lot of hate, with a lot of information. They always have a purpose. If we can look at the 10 tools of investigative journalism, I think us, the journalists, need to look at how we can begin to raise awareness on some of these things. Sometimes I even imagine if journalists need to write proposals and begin training citizens on how to understand, differentiate between fake news and news that is not fake. Because either way, the government is affected, the citizens are affected, and the journalists are affected. But what is our role as journalists when it comes to citizen journalism and its benefits and challenges? It's where I think that we need to traditionally get to the backbone of journalism, of accuracy, fact checking before you share. Now, traditional media and people who believe in the real journalism, I think it's high time also to put our efforts to see that when it's fake news, and it's fake news, it's good to come out and challenge it. and make sure that people are aware that actually this is not fake news. But the problem is that real journalists these days get to see news and they know it's fake, but they look on. And the purpose of a journalist mainly is to put the public first. Now, if you're looking at something happening and we are silent about everything, at the end of the day, our purpose of protecting the public from harm is not going to be fulfilled. So to me, my voice is echoed towards all of us, whether government, whether the citizens, whether the journalists. Our problem, my call is to make sure that us, the journalists, need to do the job that we are supposed to do, being in the middle of the right and wrong and making sure that people understand what is wrong and right, being in the middle of journalism and the government, being in the middle of the citizens and journalism, and making sure that we highlight on some of these things. Otherwise, the conversation is good. And Chairperson, thank you so much for the initiative. I hope to enjoy so much more. I'm from Uganda. I'm a student of journalism and communication management at Uganda Management Institute. And we have tried to discuss some of these things in details in classes, but I think it's high time we try to see how we get practical about the solutions to cover this up.
Excellent, excellent. Brilliant, brilliant points there, Noah. Thank you so much. That is well noted. And the last chance is going to Chuchu. Chuchu, you're welcome. Chuchu, your hand is up. Okay, as Chuchu struggles to join us, Ochaya, we have a few questions in the chat box. One of the questions.
Yes, hello?
Yes, yes, Chuchu, you're welcome.
Yeah. Okay, you are listening to me?
Yes, we are getting you. We are getting you,
all right.
Chuchu.
All right. I'm very happy to be one of the participants today. All this time I've been struggling to get internet and all this stuff during our fellowship training. And of course, sometimes I may come late, sometimes I may come on time, and internet affects. So I am a Chol, that Chuchu is my nickname, but I am a Chol Kur from Bor. I'm a journalist by professional, but whenever there is any kind of training that happens concerning journalism, I cannot say it, I'm a professional, I'm still a learner. And of course, the main thing about citizen journalism is really affections in South Sudan. Whenever you train some journalists to be a citizen journalist, they misuse the word citizen journalist. When you look at the context of South Sudan now, on social media, everybody is a journalist, is a social media journalist, is a reporter, is everywhere, but they did not get their mistakes. Most of the mistakes are being done by the citizen journalists. And of course, I may fix to the divide head now that most of the citizen journalists in the states, you're supposed to train them in person, not online, so that they can understand their work in order they cannot make mistakes. Because why I say that, if you train somebody online and maybe network can cut and all this stuff, somebody may not pick up what's wrong and what is good. But if you wanted to start reporting, you make sure that there are some criteria of your reporting. We always do the mistakes with our government. Now some journalists, they can even not know, they can be checky when they are recording from government officials because they feel shy. Of course, these things, they need to be trained on how to handle the recorder and not to shy during the events or any conference being done by the government official. And also when they are writing that particular event or the report, there are a lot of mistakes by bringing only one source. And then if the editor maybe has later, they may say, I just only got one source, but another source is not there. I struggle to find. of which it is not true. So it is good that we can tell them as citizen journalists, whenever they are reporting, they make sure they have to be accurate in their reportings. This is what I can say. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Chuchu, I call you Chuchu because your Zoom is saying your name is Chuchu John something. So Ochaya, some of the questions in the chat box. One person is asking you that given that citizen journalists are not professionals and trained, how trustworthy can their sources be? Because most times people will want to be the first to break news. Their information could be clashing with news on the TV and radio. So how do you educate citizen journalists? This is a question from Kanda. And then another person, Abraham Athian Attack, is asking that what exactly can be done to help make citizens journalism more reliable and authentic to the society? And now that is a question from another question from Naume. Naume is saying, what is the guarantee once a citizen journalist misinforms the public and is arrested? Is there any possibility that he will get some back? He will do what? I'm not getting that question clearly. And then there's another one from Dorcas. He's saying, why are citizen journalists neglected, especially those in the far-flung communities? And yeah, and then lastly, yeah. So Ocha, you can ask those questions. You can answer those questions, including the one for no. And then there's one last from Justin. He's saying, do you think citizen journalists could be more effective than mainstream journalists? If so, in what circumstances? Over to you, Jackson.
Before Jackson answers those questions,
yes,
let me try to preempt what the other question posted on the text box. The guy is, I think he's trying to ask, should a citizen journalist be arrested of, like, in other way, come into contact with the security apparatus or someone whom, or say, has been blackmailed? Is he liable to face court charges, or will he be taken to the court? And under which law will he be prosecuted, given the fact that he's not a professional journalist? I think that is how the person is trying to put that question in the chat box. That is my own assumption.
Okay. Thank you so much. Over to you, Ochaya. You can answer the questions. Your mic is off. Turn on your mic.
Thank you very much, Bida, and those who contributed through questions and comments. So I can start by answering the question of John Agok, who said the difference between armchair journalist and citizen journalist. Actually, armchair, I don't know the definition, how you may have it, but I never come across armchair journalist.
Okay. So what he's meaning is armchair journalist is this kind of journalist who sits in the office, like does not go to the field, yeah? Like sits in the office and writes all his stories from the office. That is what he means.
So noted, I've now understood. So even if you are sitting in the office and depending on how you get the story, you still be citizen journalist. As long as the office you are sitting in is not an established newsroom or media house, or maybe you're working in institution not related to media, but you have your Facebook pages, Twitter, whereby you have received information from any place or somewhere else, somebody forwarded to you something that has happened, then you want to use it on your personal Facebook page or Twitter. So you still be citizen journalist because you are informing and educating the society based on the background that you are not a trained or professional journalist. So that's to John Agog. Then coming to the difference between citizen journalists and whistleblower. Citizen journalists, they can be whistleblowers. Like I said earlier in the presentation, that they report on stories that has been neglected by mainstream media, or some of the stories that could not be heard, or situations that could not be known, but they make it known. However, there are whistleblowers who are working in institutions to spot any maladministration, corruption that is taking place in the institution. Then they tip media houses or law enforcement agencies. so that it could spark investigation or to find out if this is a scandal. But citizen journalists, they actually get out stories that could not be heard or that could not be found by mainstream media. So they act as both whistleblowers to inform and educate the society. So whistleblowers who are in institution, they are in institution, they are not in a society, and they could not use their personal, or maybe if they use their personal account to inform the public about what has happened in that institution, then they fall under that category, despite if this, on condition that they are not trained or professional journalists. Coming to question, traditional media can be overpowered by citizen journalists. Traditional media, these are well-established media houses. It has been there all along. Internet came in, still existing. So it is a well-established media institution like newspapers, TV, radio, despite the fact that internet is being widely used by people, but traditional media future still exists as long as they are well-established institution. So citizen journalism, they are not institutional, they are not coming from institution. These are just individuals, they are just there. So they still exist alongside mainstream media. They inform and educate, while traditional media also inform and educate. Like I said earlier, you step from traditional journalists by coming across a post or information that is coming from a personal profile of a person on Facebook or Twitter handles of somebody who has posted something that has happened somewhere. Then mainstream media, they follow that information by verifying if in fact it has happened. And if so, then they use that to create an angle or to create a story out of what somebody has posted based on his or her personal profile. So they coexist. Now coming to propaganda, hate speech being spread by or other professional journalists that are hiding behind citizen journalists. Of course, a professional journalist who is in a media house, well, working in a media house or freelance, I don't think whether he or she can also practice the way citizen journalists are doing their thing. Or maybe the information he or she is posting is a well-verified information of what is happening, and uses his or her personal accounts to inform and educate the society on ground that it's not propaganda or hate speech. But a professional journalist knows the line between hate speech, what impact it would cause, or the legal ramification that may come. So a trained journalist cannot actually spread hate speech or propaganda unless he or she is being used, he or she is also involved in that party to spread like their purpose, achieve it meaning. Then coming, what mechanisms do citizen journalists have to prove the accuracy of their stories? Citizen journalists, they use what is happening. What has happened in the community, they send to the public, or what is happening or what is about to happen, then they send. However, it is now the authenticity of that event they're posting, if at all they exist or they don't exist. And if it is untrue story, at the end of the day, it will be untrue story. But already they have misinformed. That's why it has that element of misinforming the society, because they don't have a line of information flow. They are the editors, they are the management, they are everything. They just send whatever information that they have, they send to the public. So the accuracy of their stories actually depend on the event that is happening or that has happened. And if it has happened, then that could be true. And if it has not happened, then they misinform or disinform the society. So that's the line where accuracy of their story falls. Then how trustworthy sources of citizen journalists? This also the same. The sources of citizen journalists they base their sources on what is happening or what has happened in society. If there is anything, in fact, that has happened in society, then that's the source of their information. And if at all there is nothing that has happened, but somebody somewhere created the story out of the blue to misinform and educate, then they fall under misinformation. They misinform or disinform the society because they are not accountable. Sometimes they can only be accountable by people who are following, countering their stories on comment section, by debunking them, or by fact-checking organizations coming out to debunk their stories. Otherwise, the trustworthy of their stories relies on the event that's unfolded. Then come to what can be done to make citizen journalism reliable. These actually, according to my understanding, if at all possible, there is need to make sure to empower youth in a society or perhaps in the rural areas on how they can report event that is happening in their area, whereby public institution or media institution, other bodies will actually be in position to source story out of what they are posting based on the fact that they have been trained on how to report on the basic of what is happening in society. They will be given the basic of how to structure stories, how to get credible stories, how to balance the basic of journalism they can be trained so that they get empowered. If that can be done in all the remote areas, wherever they are, or in our society, then we'll continue to have reliable sources from our community. Sources can only be reliable if there is that credibility of the person sending that information. If that person has credibility or is well informed, has knowledge, then that person could be reliable, because you cannot be reliable when what you are sharing or what you are doing is not true or does not meet the criteria of formality in society. So this can only be done if the people who are using Facebook are trained or educated or participate in seminars that empower them on how to send factual information to other community members in the society. Then another question says the possibility CJ community journalists be arrested and taken to court. Of course, somebody once said that a man is free, a man is born free, but is everywhere in jail. So you are not free sometimes, but you can only be free when you are doing the right thing. But if a citizen journalist has done something that is against the law, then he or she is liable to be arrested and face what is happening. And if the arrest is not on legal ground, maybe something else, then that can also be determined. But nobody can arrest you without anything. Maybe in a situation where people don't understand law, or if somebody defend, like for example, a person write an information about an institution or individual, telling the harsh reality of that person, or bringing out information that defame or information that actually put the reputation of that person at risk. And if in fact that information has the capacity to prove that it is wrong, then automatically that person fall under defamation, because he has accused somebody without evidence or the evidence that back the claim. So the person that has been accused has the right to file a case or to go after the person who defamed him or her. So another question, second to last, this says, why are citizen journalists neglected? So yeah, people who are curious in a society, who are following the event critically, they actually neglect the content that comes from citizen journalists, because they know these are not journalists from well-established media house. So they are just individuals using their platform to inform and educate. However, they are not entirely neglected. The content they are posting has impact in the society based on the accuracy or the situation that they report about. So entirely they are not neglected. However, maybe by few or by people who look at stories from individual in another angle. but they are not entire. Anything that is being reported in society is not being taken lightly. People first verify if it is true or false. Then after that, can be confirmed. This is not right or this is right. Then finally, the question which says, do you think CJ can be more effective? If so, in what circumstance? Yes, citizen journalists, they can be more effective in a situation where established media houses could not reach that area, and they are able to break that story to the public. And like I said, mainstream media, sometimes they rely on information from citizen journalists because they first come across it on social media, Twitter or Facebook, but they didn't know before. This has just reached them on their handles. Then they verify which location is this. Then they follow the contacts they have in their list. Then they confirm whether this story is true or false. And if it is true, then they start to follow to make a headline that make impact. So citizen journalists, they are effective in a situation where they are able to break a story that nobody or any media house cannot do that. Situation like in conflict, we see the videos, unverified videos of the situation in conflict, the situation of flood. So this is how effective they are. However, the authenticity of what they are posting is being questioned by people who cannot take the information that is coming from social media as gospel truth. But first they verify and confirm, then after that it becomes true. And if it is true, then that's how the circumstance under which citizen journalists can be more effective. So thank you. If there is anything, Bida, back to you. These are the questions that I've noted. And if there is anything I've missed out, then you can tell me. Yeah.
Excellent. Well done. Well done. Thank you so much for the brilliant presentation and also being able to address all the questions that were raised. I trust that most of the gentlemen here are satisfied with your answers. Now, thank you. I can let you go now, Ochaya, and in case there are any questions that come up, we'll let you know. Remember, if you're in the WhatsApp group, put any other question that you have in the WhatsApp group and they can be answered. Otherwise, we are moving to our next panelist, that is Guy Akech. He will be giving us now live examples in the case of South Sudan, where citizen journalism has been used for impact, and where citizen journalism has also been used to spread misinformation and offer solutions way forward. Guy, I hope you're with us. Guy, are you getting us? Perfect. Yeah, I see the screen is already shared, so you can unmute and carry on. So you follow the presentation from Guy Kinley, and if you have any questions, you can write them down and later on unmute and ask, or drop your question in the chat box. Guy, your mic is still off. Kindly turn on your mic. Your mic is still off. Okay, perfect. Over to you now.
All right. Good afternoon. I really appreciate your participation in this webinar.
You click on the slideshow.
So you will click that link.
Yes. So I appreciate Jackson for the nice presentation. It has been an interactive kind of a session, and I really appreciate also the participants who have put the questions across. It is really nice. So I'm Guy Akech, a journalist and a fact checker at the Head Now, East Africa. My colleague has extensively touched on citizen journalism and misinformation. Well, I'm going to be giving you some direct examples about how this citizen journalism applies in South Sudan. First of all, I'm happy that most participants here are people who are conversant with the terminologies we are using. Again, a good number is made up of journalists. I'm seeing those of John Agog, Joel Kur, and earlier on I saw when I checked, that is really nice. So we can move on. What are the examples of this citizen journalism right in South Sudan? Well, we have been getting some information available online. Some people sharing it might be blogs or even some pages that are registered as media, something media, a will media, Jongle media, something like that. So all this, including individual social media accounts, personal blogs, any unlicensed pages by media authority, tabloids, which include the famous out in Juba, Juba Eye, Jongle TV, SSGTV, and many others. So all these fall under citizen journalism because they are operated mostly by, you find that people operating them are not people who are trained in media, but they decided to be informing the society. So, and then again, being citizen journalist, the content is not regulated. And for example, those out in Juba, for example, those tabloids, that is out in Juba, Juba and others, they don't have any limit. They share anything on social media, anything that they come across. But the mainstream media has some restrictions, okay? So what are the impacts of citizen journalism in South Sudan? Citizen journalism has been made easier with the emergence of digital equipment, digital spaces at our disposal. What do I mean by digital spaces? We have Facebook, we have WhatsApp, we have Twitter, we have Instagram. These are the digital spaces I'm talking about. And for digital journalists, citizen journalists, they are able now to make the information available through these spaces, through these channels for consumption. So the technological advancement has really given citizen journalism a good space to thrive. And for this reason, dissemination of information has been very swift. That is, it reaches masses in few seconds across South Sudan. So anything happening in Western Equatoria, in Eastern Equatoria, in Upper Nile, you can just get it right here in Juba at the comfort of your house or your office. You don't need to listen to the radio. You just have to maybe put on your data and then you having a smartphone and you are able to consume much of this information. But again, this comes with both positive and negative impacts in the manner we consume the available information. That means the information available can be false information, can be true, okay? So anything that is available through citizen journalism, it has two sides, okay? Being negative and positive at the same time, but that is like the content varies, okay? Again, when we are looking at this, the positive impacts, there is quick dissemination of information. That is, piece of writing doesn't need to go through editorial processes. That is, the journalists know about this, that a reporter has to write a story. And writing a story means you have interviewed the sources, you have done the background research, Then you have to submit it to the editors. The managing editor will work on it. The editor-in-chief will have to look at it, and then to the point of publication. So for this case, citizen journalism doesn't employ such sophisticated kind of process. It just goes straight to sharing the information direct to the audience. Second to that, citizen journalism is a precursor to issues affecting the communities or the country. So any citizen journalist deep in the remotest part of the country can actually talk about what is happening down there. And for that case, mainstream media, talk of humanitarian organizations, and even the government can come to be aware of what is affecting the country, and more especially the communities. So it is really a pointer to issues affecting our communities. Also, it keeps mainstream media on toes to improve on quality of reporting, or that is in-depth kind of reporting. You know, as a journalist, I will not just report lightly on something that has already been shared by a citizen journalist. I need to dig deeper, try to bring out the information that was not covered. So by doing that, I'm improving the quality of reporting, okay? So going beyond what was not reported, or going beyond what is not available on the public domain. So that is the work of citizen journalism. It keeps the mainstream media on toes to improve quality of reporting. Also to give ins to mainstream media on developing issues in the country for coverage. So sometimes the journalists will just monitor the media, the social media, and then come across some trends. And from that point, a journalist can be interested to pick a story idea and develop it into a wider kind of information for public consumption. So that is a positive impact of citizen journalism. One of the examples is right here of positive citizen journalism. Sometimes I don't really give examples of myself, but I just found this in line with what we are discussing today. So I did this sometimes back. Then I had not joined any newsroom. So the incident that happened in Shirkat, then I had to get close to what was happening, talk to some people around, and I had the opportunity to get the whole idea of the shooting. So I posted this. So I just screenshot the headline, but the text is just below. So I mentioned, I gave detail of what happened, and it was widely shared. It was widely shared. It was kind of information that was compacted. It was giving full details, and then I shared it on my Facebook page. So it was widely shared and some interactions. And for that reason, I received a lot of calls from mainstream media. I received calls from those of Mirai FM, iRadio. We did. They interviewed me about the incident, and really contributed to their programming as well, or to their reporting as mainstream media. So this where now the positive aspect of citizen journalism comes in. There is that interconnection. So also there is this as well. There is this example. There is this. There is this example posted by Forward Radio FM. It is positive in the sense that it is giving or it is playing an advocacy role in this. okay? So as a journalist, you can as well pick up from this point by investigating where these wild animals are being poached, and that can make a news by interviewing the concerned authorities, the wildlife, and other environmental activists, you know. So this where now citizen journalism plays an advocacy role in a media or in trying to reach out to issues affecting our country. Another one is this. This was reported by the same media. So it is positive in the sense that it is informing. It is informing the audience that there is something happening. Actually, regarding this same incident that happened on Nimli Juba Highway, I had to call the police spokesperson, Major General Daniel Justin, about it. But he was not having that information about what has happened. He did not have information at the moment. But the citizen journalist that was on the ground had to share this information with the public. So it is really important, and it informs the citizen, the audience, about what is happening in some parts of the country. And then now, in case of an attack, it means that someone has to maybe employ some security measures before they travel to that point. And then again, this an individual. It's not a page now. This called Kim Wialpu, a citizen journalist, a good example of citizen journalist. I think most of you are conversant with these images. They were widely shared sometimes back in May. This particular person was in the, I think it happened around Upper Nile, yeah. So this citizen journalist decided to watch these animals and took a picture, as you are seeing, with the animals and shared it on his social media. So this can appear to you as negative and positive as well. The positive aspect of it is, giving us hints of the kind of things he did that led to, later on, we are going to see how the mainstream media picked up on the issue and investigated it. So it is positive in the sense that it gives the mainstream media a glimpse of what is happening. Again, it is negative that this person is responsible because it is not taking care of the environment, okay, killing the animals like in this kind of this manner. So this is an example of a citizen journalist posting from wherever he was at the moment, and it reached out to so many people. When you look down here, it was shared, widely shared by 273. So that is citizen journalism. And still this him, the one standing on the giraffe, and his colleague are slaughtering the other one here. So it is irresponsible though. And due to his coverage or sharing the information, iRadio later on took it to the newsroom. It investigated the government, the forces that were alleged to have been involved in the incident, and they came out to deny they were not involved in this kind of poaching. So you can see the kind of interdependence right now in this. Yeah. So moving on, still talking about the connection between citizen journalism and mainstream media. These photos that were reported or were shared by iRadio then, they were taken by citizen journalists. Okay, so it means that iRadio journalists were not at the scene when it happened, but a citizen journalist took it took the incident of the pictures of the incident and shared it on social media. So iRadio took it from there. So we can see it was taken by Chris Issa Gordon. So, and when you look at your right, you can see also the education on that face. This is more also advocacy. Yeah, someone to mute that. So we see education under trees. So this was also taken into attention by Reverend Tito Taban, who took this image and posted it on Facebook. And iRadio had to bring it into concern and to reach the concerned authorities. And by doing that, it is still playing the advocacy role in trying to improve the services and infrastructures of learning. And now we're talking of negative impacts of this citizen journalism. There is increased widespread of misinformation. There is unverified information or facts being shared widely, and such information can be damaging to our social cohesion. As we all know that South Sudan, someone is talking there. So as we all know that South Sudan just transitioned from conflict, and some negative information can really affect the kind of, the social cohesion we have. They can really compromise our unity. So, but citizen journalism do sometimes share unverified information. Also, it helps, or it increases dissemination of hate speech. Okay, someone can write a hate speech or degrading information about certain community or about someone and share it on social media. So in that way, it is really affecting the way we interact with each other and our peace. Also, it is anonymous. The anonymity of people propagating misinformation is not known. Sometimes people are hiding behind the keyboard and just name their pages, something media. But now they are spreading that information. We don't know who they are, but they are using the medium to propagate misinformation. So we are not able to identify who did it. Of course, you might say it is a certain page, okay? But now we cannot really identify who the person is, and we cannot even hold them accountable. Unlike in the mainstream media where we have reporters, a specific reporter reporting on a news article. Also, it can be used, citizen journalism can be used for character assassination for celebrities and government officials. If you look at, there is one of the pages that is found of talking of Nile page. This is anyone who can remember that? So there is a social media page on Facebook that is always attacking the Nile Paid MD, managing director, Choldeng. Is talking of him being involved in corruption, him like bringing his colleagues or family into top positions in the sector, So this what is happening mostly with this citizen journalism. They use it to defame celebrities, government officials, or even other communities. It is unregulated as well. Being unregulated, anything is available. You can share anything. There's nothing that. And for journalists who are in this webinar, you can really agree with me that not everything that you write is published, right? There's some news articles you write, but they are killed by the editors because maybe they see there is something problematic about it, so they decide not to let it go to the audience. So, but for citizen journalism, this is not regulated. No one works as a gatekeeper. Everything just goes to the audience, regardless of the impacts. So this is also an example of negative citizen journalism reported by 64 tribes press. Fighting erupts inside SPLM house right now. So it happens 6 days ago. This particular information is false. I had to talk to the SPLM Secretary General Peter Lam. I had to interview him, like, what is happening? Is this happening at the SPLM house? So, but the response was like, this is fake information. There's nothing like that in the SPLM house. And even in the said day, there was no meeting that was described in this particular reporting or this post. So this is really negative. It is inciting violence, or even it is in giving, information that will instigate fear among the citizens. Another one is this: breaking. I will attack Juba, the senior leader. Okay, this information as well is false. It is not true. And someone behind the keyboard just decided to share it to the public, but it is not true. So what do you need to do as a citizen journalist? We are all journalists, but we need to employ some kind of, we need to be alert at what we do. By saying we are all journalists, anyone who is not even trained can give information about certain happenings in some parts of the country, just maybe sharing information. By doing so, you are a journalist, okay? But now, what do you need to do so that you are a responsible citizen journalist? You have to stick to the truth every time you are doing the reporting or whenever you are informing the public. Imagine your Facebook account reaches 5,000 people, and that 5,000 people can be across the world, okay? So any information, any misinformation, maybe you are sharing on your Facebook account or you are posting, it means it is reaching out to millions of people or hundreds of people because your friend has another 5,000, or your friend of your friend has 5,000, So the cycle is really big, and feeding such number of people with misinformation can really have some detrimental impact on our relations. Also, it means as a citizen journalist, you need to cross-check any information before sharing. Some information is like by the look of it, you just know this is not true, but you don't have to share it. Okay, you need to at least ignore it. And lastly, think of the impact of what you are sharing. You can share information that is is insightful. You are inciting people to fight, or you are propagating hate among the people or among the communities, and that is not in the spirit of patriotism. So it is your responsibility as a citizen journalist to always stick to the truth and think of the impact of what you are sharing before it is shared. So this brings me to the end of my presentation. I really appreciate your time. I think I will end here, and any question I will be able to get back to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Guy, for the nice presentation. It's really been lively with the examples and the interrelationship between mainstream and citizen journalism, and how the mainstream media actually looks out to the citizen journalists to sort of give them some tips and heads up on the coverage that they sort of want to make. So guys, looks like a couple of you have not registered their attendance. A few people, like a lot of people, have not registered their attendance. So please look at the chat box, and there is a Google form there. Click on that link so that you are able to confirm that you are here today, and then put your right number so that we are able to send you your data reimbursement shortly after the session. So please register your attendance. I have posted the link. Click on that link and do that. Meanwhile, if you have any questions for Guy, you can ask. If you have any questions for Guy, you can ask, and we'll be going for 5 minutes breakout rooms. We'll be going for 8 minutes breakout rooms where you will be. Yes, John Agok, you're welcome. John Agok, you're welcome.
Thank you, Bida, and also I thank to two presenters, that is Jackson Ochaya and now Philip Guy. It's just a little bit comment. It's not a question rather. And I also want to ask from Guy, given the South Sudan context where citizens is now emerging too much. You have seen a guy that the citizen journalists who were and 2016 war has now diverted attention to misinforming people on different alternative media created online, like what you mentioned earlier, like many. And if you look at these alternative media, some of them who are running, some people who are running these are some people who might be security elements who have very powerful information that some of us who are practically in the country cannot get. And they are just posting information online, the audience now shifting away from traditional media to those alternative media, simply because they sometimes put some information that are not verified by so how could we actually with the people who are working? Because some of them are professional journalists, but they are hiding behind those alternative media. And again, coming in, this is journalism. We have seen now, like who was wrestling. They are doing great. Like if you have seen now, most of wrestling that are happening in the country, they captured this wrestling live. Somebody and are really enjoying, and even they're getting some motivation more than some of the journalists who are practicing or the professional journalists. So how do you now differentiate these people who are feeling poor or betrayed, but now they have shifted their attention to different things like wrestling and now giving information sensitive online or on social media? Are you getting me, guys?
Yes, I'm getting you.
Yes, go ahead.
It's breaking a bit, yeah. Go ahead, go.
Okay, I'm just concluding where some of the journalists now who are citizen journalists are doing on alternative media, like what the Juba, plus many other alternative media you mentioned earlier on. And some of the citizens and I think that would be nice. So what could actually differentiate these so
John Ogo, what happened with your internet?
Yes. Wow. So it's freezing, I think it's freezing. Okay, let me just go back as a comment. I will getting it down.
Yes, Vida. John Ogo?
Yes, looks like we lost him. Probably he has connectivity issues. Yeah, but I think he was mentioning, he was asking about these people who are dropping mainstream media and then going to hide behind alternative media? So that's what he's asking.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, Janagok, for asking that question. You know, we regard citizen journalism as blogging. You know, we can even have an individual who is registered with the communications with the media authority. You know, registering his blog or his blog for sharing information. And in this case, if this person is professionally trained as a journalist, then we can still call him a citizen journalist. Because of if he sticks to sharing accurate information, okay. So, but now the difference comes in a mainstream media must be an organization, not an individual. It must be an organization that is registered, that follows all the processes of a news media company. Okay, but for an individual to register his blog, that qualifies for citizen journalism. Okay, it is still okay. It is nice. It's all right for a journalist to break away from the newsroom and do something. Do blogging. In fact, it is paying. It pays a lot of people, you know. So by doing that, that is still citizen journalism. And when it's done nicely, then there's no problem. It is for the good of the society. Thank you.
Yes, maybe
Perfect.
I can add something. Bida.
Yes, Ochaya, you can go on.
Yes, I want to add something on the facts raised by Janagok, who said why some professional journalists are hiding behind citizen journalists. Actually, that depends on what drives them away from the mainstream and going to be citizen journalists or to hide behind citizen. Maybe the content they want to post can be censored in the newsroom by editors or anybody above them. That would make them not to reach out what they want to share to the public. That when they now rushed and used citizen journalism means to reach out their information to their audience. That could be the reason, but the main thing would depend on what is the intention of that person moving away from the mainstream media. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you so much.
You getting Bida?
Yes, thank you for the insights.
Yes, Bida.
Do you want to add anything else?
Yes, there is a question from Okeni Israel who shared with me in direct inbox. Is asking, what are the future of citizen journalism in 15 years to come in a country like South Sudan?
Okay, you can answer that later on when we are concluding. Let us first hear from, we have Naume. Naume, you're welcome.
Yeah. Hello?
Yes, we are getting you, and then later on we go to Mongazi Ayan.
Yeah, actually, my question goes to the professor. So actually, on the last one, you said that we should actually always base and stick on the truth. Yeah, basically on the two last photos you showed us, this one might have been, maybe somebody cannot just misinform people. Maybe that person is being bribed or something like that. So my question to you, in case somebody like undergoes under brown envelope, how maybe as a citizen journalist, how do you intend to overcome that? Thank you.
Have two people raising their hands, Mugazi and Peter Jack. Mugazi, go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity you've given me. I'm presenting from Uganda. and I work with an organization called Resource Rights Africa, based here in Kampala, Uganda.
Yes.
My insult goes to I would like to explain something about citizen journalism here in Uganda. We have cases where you find most media houses hire individuals from outside due to the fact that they have a lot of following, more so on Facebook, Instagram, and any other social media handles, to help them source information. And we see this has or comes along with disadvantages and advantages. We all understand that citizen journalists have been seen or have given us a stage of breaking stories. You get it? Whereby they don't have to go through a process of having editors and what. Okay, something has happened. For example, here a case of rebels that entered Uganda. Someone just puts it on their handle as followings go along. You get it? Then on the other side, we see the disadvantage that they could break information that could be of I'll call it security breaking. Here, I mean, it could cause insults in people. So this calls for cross-checking certain information that is being produced by certain journalists.
Yeah, let's hear from Peter Young. Magazi, thank you for your input.
Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity again. I just wanted to say something about the breakout room questions. Number 4, whether on how we are going to encourage or discourage.
We are yet to go into
citizen journalism.
We are yet going to that.
Okay.
So yeah, I think Ochaya, let us just break out. Let us just go into the breakout rooms. We will give you guys 10 minutes because we are left with 22 minutes to wrap up everything. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
All right. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we are going into 3 breakout rooms. So when you get into the breakout rooms, you can choose your group leader and then look at the questions and address them accordingly. And then the group leader will then report back to all of us on what your thoughts are. Like I said, there will be 3 breakout rooms, and then Ochaya, I, and Gaia Ketch will be in each room to see what is going on. And please let us discuss and choose your group leader, and so that the group leader can report back to the entire room. Best wishes, please.
Hello?
Yes,
Okay,
my group, I think we have not tackled well number 2, and I hope we are going to. You are a strong group.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that other groups have not finished all the questions, but at least I expect their leaders to come up with what they have jotted, and they should be in position at least to do something.
Good. So we are left with 6 minutes to end this webinar. So I welcome the group leader for the first group. The leader for group 1. Who is the leader for group 1? Group 2? Group 3?
Group 3, Kanda.
Yes, so
Are you there?
I am here.
John Ogok.
Yes,
John Ogok,
Kanda,
are
you're
you
welcome.
there? John Ogok, can you confirm your presence?
Yes, Guy, I'm around.
All right.
Chuchu is raising her hand. I don't know. Bida.
Yes. No, let us start.
Yes,
The group
yes,
leader for,
yes.
yes.
Can I confirm my group, please?
Now we are done with that. So we're just looking at the group leaders to make their
Then
presentations.
I really don't know which group I am because network is problem on my site. I've been up and down online.
Don't worry, Chuchu. You can take the opinion of people who will be presenting so that that network does knock you out. Yes, group 1, if you are ready, the group leader.
Group 1, Peter Jack is back. He was knocked out, but he is now back. I think he can do the presentation.
Let him take the lead immediately.
Peter Jack, your turn.
Yes, I'm here. I was out. Yes.
Take on.
Do the
Okay, thank you so
presentation.
much. It's okay. I'm going to be very brief on behalf of our group. Actually, I went out. The network is quite challenging here, and I did not exactly follow what the other members of the group have discussed when I was out. But briefly, the things that we discussed when I was here, we actually recommend or we really encourage this citizen journalism. We said it is okay, it is good. It helps a lot on reporting on basis of the fact that we are always giving out the information that we always give. It will also help. Sometimes it is cross-cutting. You will find that somebody is giving out the information, and there are people outside South Sudan. They can also get the information. Sometimes people don't rely on the registered sources like the Facebook pages, the news. Sometimes it costs them a lot. The data and all this. But for the Facebook users, the citizen journalism, you will find that some people get the information quickly rather than the other sources of information. And we also say that it is also biased sometimes if you have not fact-checked the information and you started to disseminate the information that is not accurate, it is also sometimes bad. So we need to be based our fact on the right information that we have already got it to share with the audience that are outside there. And again, in our group, we say it also give us the space for everybody to report. Of course, this is not it becomes like not an organization whereby there are chains of hierarchy in terms of giving out the information. So in citizen journalism, the moment you find the information, you can exactly feel if you want to give out the information, it is your right time. You can share the information with your audience. You can also, sometimes you can, there is funny things with the information that they always get on Facebook. You can sometimes copy, you copy. If the information is not yours, exactly, and you want to share with the rest, so you have to copy.
Yes.
You will just click, you will just highlight,
Peter,
it will be on your keyboard.
Peter,
yes, please. Yes.
Can you be faster, please?
Yes. Okay, yes.
Be faster.
So lastly, we say that it will help a lot in providing information. And of course, we need to verify the information. and the accuracy of the information before we give out the information. Thank you so much. This is what we have presented as our group. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you. Group 2, do you wanna go? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Thank you, Guy, the facilitator, and also the group leader, Abraham Pian. Are you getting me?
Yes, continue.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, just keep reminding me in case the internet is cutting. I just want to be very quick regarding the group that I represent here. We discussed the 3 questions and the answers are as follow. Number 1 question, the answer is on the view of citizen journalism. So our group agree that some of them have negative impact and some of them have positive impact because the negative impact are those who don't information in the society or to those who are information consumers. And the second question is about the living examples where we have seen such citizen journalism are practicing or are putting information. I think social media became to be the only tool that they are using. They are using social media, especially Facebook. And the third question is I think it's more or less the same to number 1. So if you ask whether citizen journalism are good or are not good and why, I think the answer is yes or no. Yes, simply because they give good impact to the population who are consuming information. Because citizen journalism sometimes they report information that is overlooked by professional journalists, and that is good. So we need them. We need citizens at that point. Where we don't need citizen journalism is where they pour out information that are carrying hate speech and maybe propaganda or malicious information that may break the cycle of violence. I mean, that may break the society or just may cause violence into the society or to those who are online. I think this is where we can say no to citizen journalism if that is the case. I think with this, these are the 3 answers that are together.
Yes. Yeah, thank you very much, Demagog and the group. Thank you for your input. Now, group 3, Kanda, are you there?
Hello, yes, I'm here.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry we couldn't finish, but then we had a little we discussed about, so I'll just share what we discussed. Okay, the first question, our view and thought on citizen journalism. We said it is good, but it has its positive and its negative side. One of us, we said citizen journalism is the zeal and energy of mainstream journalism. It is a zeal and energy, but then mainstream journalism doesn't have access to certain areas, but citizen journalism does. That is, it's kind of complementing. Citizen journalism is kind of complementing mainstream journalism. That's the first point. The second question is hello. Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, the second question is do we have any what are some examples of citizen journalism shared on peace building and information? Okay, we got an example. It wasn't really like physical, something that was shared online on YouTube. Okay, it is about a YouTube it's called Afric Map. They shared information on the situation of a particular people, the situation the people were going through. Then they had some funds that were given to them. They took the money and helped the population. That's one part of citizen journalism that has been helpful in the society. Then we have the other question of citizen. What's that question again? What are the examples of citizen journalists that have shared false information? Okay, I'll take a situation of my country here in Cameroon. We've been through a crisis, I'll say over 5 years now. In the beginning of the crisis, um, we got information like online. Everybody just became like a journalist. Most informations were shared. Some people were just sharing information so that the population will follow them and really see that military forces are really going down on the citizens and killing them. It's true the situation was not really fine, but then people got to exaggerate it so that the news could be spread. It could go viral on social media and really like bring Cameroon down. That's what I would really say. The government saying the government was not actually doing something. Meanwhile, most of them were false information. They were taking some images for some different countries, and there were images for maybe I say some years that had passed. They'll come and post and say this is a situation that has happened in a particular city in Cameroon. Meanwhile, it was false. And the last question was, what are some, well, if I don't, should citizen journalism be encouraged or discouraged? I will personally say, on behalf of my group, let me say that it should be encouraged, but while being encouraged, we should educate them. I don't know how we're gonna do this because there are some of them that are not really known. But then we need to make it like on social media platforms, we share them, not just one individual, but everybody. We go on social media, you share. Like if you're doing this, we need to think before we click, like the Defy Hate Now logo goes. Then we need to be mindful of the words we bring out because many people out there are really like that some people cannot take some information because some people have been traumatized. When you share some information that is not really good, it get them like their mental health could be deteriorated. So that's what I'll just say for now. Since we don't have time, I'll just did a small summary. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kanda. That's perfect. That's wonderful presentation, including other groups. Thank you very much